All right, let's go back. Let's take a listen to the toms before we use the tom trick. So you can hear cymbal bleed. Yeah, we want to get rid of that. Now let's listen to the toms with the tom trick processing. Oh, hey, what's up, friends? Welcome back to the Mix Academy. I'm David Glenn with themixacademy.com. Today, I'm going to show you the tom trick. You might be thinking to yourself, what the heck is the tom trick? Well, very simply put, if you have a song where the toms are, you need more, but you got the darn cymbal bleed or maybe even snare bleed, you want to get rid of it, but you want to use the real toms. I hate replacing toms. I'm always using the real toms if I can get away with it. Even when they're not that well recorded or tuned, you can still kind of get away with it. And the tom trick is going to help you. So there's two ways you can accomplish that. We're going to remove the snare bleed, the cymbal bleed by manual labor. In Pro Tools, it's called an audio suite plugin. And I'm going to show you how to process that. And then the second way is glorious. It's so awesome. Steven Slate Digital's Gate, the drum gate built into VMR, is my go-to number one if I can do it. If you have a drummer, rock, I guess it doesn't really rock, pop rock, country, all that kind of stuff. If you have a drummer, a great drummer with consistent, nice pounded toms, then that's the way to go. But if you have, in my case, I mix a lot of black gospel, you're going to be hard pressed to get that gate's threshold set. You're going to either be automating the threshold or you're going to be better off just going with the manual labor, which is what I'm going to show you first up. Whoop, hold up. Almost forgot. I've got a free resource for you. If you're new here to the channel, check it out. Link in the description. It's my Fix It in the Mix guide. It's a free guide to help you take those average or poor recordings and save them and turn them into hit records. Now, I know a lot of you guys, you roll your eyes at me when I talk about it, but I got to help you out. Those average and poor recordings, they come my way. Almost every single session, there's something that could have been recorded better. And a lot of sessions, there's stuff that could be recorded so much better. So if you're beating your head against the wall, I don't care if it's poorly recorded vocals, drums, bass, I've got it covered in this guide, free for you today. Check it out, link in the description, and then let's get back into the tutorial. Let's take a look at manual labor, the tom trick. I've got that sample we showed at the beginning. You can see, if I hit that and play it again, you'll hear, without the tom trick, we have cymbal bleed. And so let's just highlight and loop that for a second there. So just after this fill, again, this song didn't need it. Not every song needs it. But I'm going to use these toms to showcase a trick. But again, use your ears. If the song needs it, it's calling to get rid of the cymbal bleed, snare bleed. Great trick. If you don't need it, then hey, you save yourself some tedious labor. Let's listen again. Here is with the tom trick. And I tell you what, let's go even more focused. Hear that floor tom? Here's what it sounded like before the tom trick. Okay, so enough showing off. Let's actually look at the technique. So basically, let's go back to, so here we have the set of toms with no tom trick. We're going to go to our audio suite and pick an EQ. Now, Logic, Studio One, Reaper, this is going to be whatever they call their audio suite plugins. It's where you're going to commit the processing to a snippet or a region that you've selected instead of a plugin insert where it's going to impact the whole track. So audio suite plugins for us Pro Tools guys, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to place a high cut, and it's as simple as that. We're going to go down. I'm going to tighten the dB per octave slope. I like to go around 36 dB per octave, and 300, 200, 150. It depends on the toms, the tuning, but usually 350 is perfectly fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in, zoom in, and let's just work with this floor tom here. You can see, and then we have a cymbal hit. So we have the roll from the tom, and then just after the transient of that last tom hit, we've got cymbal bleed. So I'm going to go and I'm going to select everything to that next hit. Now, you could get more tedious and you could go in and delete all the stuff that's not toms, all that space in betweens, kind of a standard practice in editing to edit toms and just get rid of the gaps. This takes that technique, it's that on steroids. It takes it to the next level. And so all we're going to do is take that selection here, okay, and I'm going to come up and I'm going to process or render that high cut. That's it. So now all we have left is the sustain from the tom. Okay. I wish that would be it. That would be a little bit faster, but we do have to go in a little bit of cleanup work. If you come in here, you're going to see a little bit of a glitch if you don't edit. So we're going to put a crossfade in Pro Tools. I've got the Smart tool on. Otherwise, you would need to come in and select it, Command F for a fade and place your fade there. But if you're working with the Smart tool, it's all 3+ tools combined, then you can just go ahead and click right there. You're good to go. And then what you could do is you could come in here and put a fade out. For this, I decided to keep the toms in, so I'm not clearing that gap out, but maybe you want that tom to die out right there. So you could put a break and just delete that, or trim everything after your call and then maybe put a fade, and so now you have... So it just depends on the extension, the decay that you want to allow that tom to have. Now you can see how that might be tedious to go to every single tom, every single hit. Or what I like to do is I'll solo rack tom 1. I'll just go listening, and I'll look for, you can usually see right here where the transient's nice and no tom trick necessary there, right? And even that cymbal bleed right there. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but that's getting a little bit anal, we'll say. All right. Again, do you want it? You go in. Really what I'm looking for is where you have a tom and then immediately a cymbal. Like you didn't get any sustain and then the cymbal whacks you in the face. And so I'll go through every single hit, and something my assistant will do in mix prep, and go through and do the tom trick. So there you go. We saw the tom trick, manual labor, super sweet. You saw the result. All right, now let's check out the Slate Gate, the easy way. If you have consistent tom hits, it could be consistently light tom hits, heavy tom hits, but if you go from ghosting or dynamic, soft dynamics to louder dynamic performance on the toms, it's probably going to be better for you to just go the manual labor. I know it's tedious, but you're going to get better results. But for those times when you have consistent tom hits, let's take a look at the tom trick within Steven Slate's Gate, the drums gate. You come over here to the dynamics knob, you scroll down, and you're going to see you've got the classic gate, and then you've got the drums gate. Incredible that they've built in detection filters, low cut and high cut filters into the resonance or the sustain of the tom, the body, or you can also set it independent, the transient of the hit. And so you can really shape and dial in the tom trick within a plugin. And I think it may have been Boz Miller had a plugin that allowed you to do this on toms. I didn't have much experience with it, but this is just beautifully implemented. Slate, kudos to them for creating this. And again, like I said, if you've got consistently hit toms, this is going to be the way to go. Let's take a listen. Enough yapping. Let's hear it without it, and then I'll put it in. So that cymbal comes in, and again, this I should have picked a song where the cymbal sounded like garbage, but that cymbal comes in and interrupts the sustain of the tom. We want to clean that up a little bit. Let's see what it sounds like now engaged. So we got a little bit of that cymbal hit. Let's lift up the threshold. This is kind of what I was saying about finding the sweet spot of the threshold. Let's see if we get rid of it. No, we got to go higher. Yeah. So now that's a single hit. That's the detection filter up here set to 400, 300, 400, whatever you want. 150, 250, depends on the tom. Same thing as in the manual labor. And then what you have here is the release for the sustain and the release for the transient. You can see how the release for the transient, get it squared here on the screen for you, is all the way down as low as it can go. You're just getting that initial stick hitting the head. But then here the release for the body. Let me show you what you can do. Let's tighten it up and then we'll enhance it. So you can hear it's just dot, dot, it's out. We got a little reverb, it's carrying some sustain for it. That's a cool trick. Now, if you want the full resonance, you could just put this bad boy all the way up. And now you have that control. Again, the transient, if we lift this up, you're going to hear that cymbal bleed again. Less of it because the gate is starting to engage around the time that the cymbal's coming in. But anyways, I think you guys get the point. But basically, it's the high cut in the... can't talk. The high cut in the dynamics filter section of the gate, both down here and up here above. And we can really clamp down on them here. And then, of course, setting your transient, just crank that all the way down to 50 milliseconds. You're going to be just fine doing that. And then you can tighten the tom up again. That's a good example. That sound right there, the choked tom sound, is what you get when you only edit and delete everything. So that's where you like go in and you edit the cymbal out. You just delete it. You get these choked tom sounds and you're trying to revive it with reverb, and it just doesn't work. So sweet, we've got Slate Gate here. You've got the manual labor. Add that to your toolbox, and hopefully that's going to help you take your next mix and help it make it be your best mix yet. I'm David Glenn with the Mix Academy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe, and check out the free Fix It in the Mix guide. I'm going to help you take those average and poor recordings and turn them into something that can be radio worthy. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one.